Ambassador Jiho Kim walked slowly through the massive doors of the Galactic Council building. The structure was so tall he could not see the top when he looked up. Strange lights floated in the air like tiny stars. Alien voices filled the huge room with sounds no human had ever heard before. Jiho carried a small device in his pocket. It would translate his words into sounds the aliens could understand. Next to him stood Mina Park, a soldier from Earth's military. She wore a simple black uniform, but her eyes moved constantly, watching everything around them. "The species called human asks to join our galactic family," announced a creature that looked like a giant flower with arms. Its voice came through speakers placed around the room. "They have sent their representative to speak for their planet." Hundreds of different aliens sat in floating chairs arranged in circles around the room. Some looked like giant insects. Others appeared to be made of crystal or metal. A few resembled Earth animals, but with extra arms or eyes in strange places. Jiho stepped forward and pressed a button on his translator. "People of the galaxy," he said clearly, "Earth wishes to be friends with all of you. We want to trade with you, learn from you, and share our knowledge with you." Many of the aliens made sounds that the translator told him meant approval, but Jiho was not finished speaking. However, he continued, his voice becoming more serious. "We must tell you something important. If anyone attacks human colonies, human ships, or human people, Earth will respond. We will protect our own." A creature that looked like a walking rhinoceros with 4 arms laughed loudly. "Every new species says things like this," it said through its own translator. "They all think they are special when they first join us." Near the front of the room sat High Admiral Vexmore of the Zephyrian Empire. He had yellow eyes and skin like armor. His species had been testing new members of the galactic community for hundreds of years. It was their way of showing everyone who was really in charge. Vexmore leaned forward in his floating chair. His 4 eyes studied the 2 humans carefully. They looked so small and weak compared to most galactic species. Their planet was far from the center of civilization. They had no powerful weapons that anyone had seen. "Interesting," Vexmore said quietly to his assistant. "Schedule a small attack on one of their colonies. Let us see what these humans can actually do when someone fights them." Back on Earth, Sumi Lee sat in a room full of computer screens high above the planet. Her job was to watch alien faces during important meetings. She had studied how different species showed emotions. The way Vexmore moved his secondary arms toward his weapons told her everything she needed to know. "Control center," she spoke into her microphone. "I recommend we prepare for trouble. The Zephyrians are planning something deep underground in the Swiss mountains." Heian Park received Sumi's message. Around him, holographic displays showed the location of every human settlement, ship, and outpost scattered across 12 different star systems. As director of Earth's strategic defense, it was his job to protect all of them. "Message received," he replied. "All colony commanders should implement Emergency Protocol 7 immediately. If they want to test us, we should be ready." 2 weeks later, a supply ship arrived at the human mining colony on a planet called Kepler 4 for Tubi. Jun Choi, who managed the colony, signed for cargo containers marked as mining equipment. But Hannah Song, the security chief, noticed something strange about the containers. They were much heavier than normal mining tools. "These are not mining supplies," Hannah said, running her scanner over the sealed boxes. "These contain military weapons." June nodded seriously. "Orders from Earth. Apparently, we are about to have unwelcome visitors." Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Min Kong worked at his communication station in the colony. His job was not to fight if enemies came. His job was to watch everything they did and send detailed information back to Earth. He had spent weeks installing hidden cameras and sensors throughout the mining settlement. "If someone attacks us," he told Hannah, "Earth will know exactly what weapons they use, how they fight, and what their weaknesses are. The mining colony looked peaceful from space. 300 humans lived there, digging valuable metals from the planet's crust. Their ships were small and designed for carrying cargo, not fighting wars. To most observers, it seemed like an easy target. But Earth had learned something important during their first contact with galactic civilization. In space, information was more valuable than weapons. Understanding your enemy was more important than having bigger guns. And being prepared was the difference between victory and defeat. As Jun Choi watched alien ships appear in the distance through his telescope, he activated the colony's emergency communication system. His message was simple, but carried across the galaxy in seconds. This is Kepler-4 for 2B Colony to Earth Command. Unknown vessels approaching. Beginning intelligence gathering operations now. The test was about to begin. The Zephyrians thought they were attacking a helpless mining settlement. They had no idea they were about to provide Earth with exactly the information it needed to protect every human in the galaxy. The warning had been clear. Touch them, face Earth. Soon, everyone would understand what those words really meant. The Zephyrian warships came out of hyperspace like dark shadows falling across the small mining colony. Admiral Veltar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the human settlement through the main viewing screen. He had done this many times before with other species. Standard attack plan, he told his crew. Fast strike, minimal damage, quick escape. These humans need to learn that the Zephyrian Empire is not to be ignored. On the surface of Kepler-4 for to be, Jun Choi watched the enemy ships through the colony's observation dome. His hands did not shake as he pressed the red emergency button that would warn everyone in the settlement. All colonists to emergency positions, his voice echoed through every building. This is real. Repeat, this is not a practice drill. Hannah Song was already moving toward the storage containers that had arrived from Earth 2 weeks earlier. When she opened the first container, she found advanced combat armor instead of mining equipment. The second container held plasma rifles that hummed with deadly energy. The third contained portable shield generators marked with Earth's military symbols. Well, she said, lifting one of the energy weapons, looks like Earth knew this was coming. Minkong sat at his communication station, working frantically as the first Zephyrian landing ships began descending toward the colony. But his job was not to call for help. His job was to record everything the aliens did and send that information back to Earth through quantum communication channels. I am getting detailed scans of their ships, he reported to Hannah over the radio. Weapon types, shield frequencies, engine signatures, even the air mixture they breathe inside their helmets. All data is being transmitted to Earth in real time. The Zephyrian ground troops expected to fight frightened miners, armed with simple tools. Instead, they found Dae-Kim and his mining crew waiting for them. What the aliens did not know was that Day and many other colonists were actually retired Earth military soldiers who had volunteered for colony duty specifically because situations like this might happen. Enemy contact in the main plaza. Day's voice crackled over the communication system as bright plasma bolts lit up the settlement. These humans have real military weapons. Someone prepared them for war. The battle lasted 6 hours. The humans used every possible advantage they could find. They knew the layout of every building and tunnel in the colony. They were excellent shots with their weapons. Most importantly, they worked together like a trained military unit instead of panicked civilians. Yuki Lim, the colony's chief engineer, had spent the previous weeks installing hidden cameras, microphones, and scanning devices throughout the entire settlement. Even as she helped coordinate the defense, her equipment was recording every detail about Zephyrian technology and battle tactics. I am getting their complete technical specifications, she reported to Earth during a brief pause in the fighting. Shield harmonics, weapon power levels, command structure, even psychological profiles based on how they react under stress. The Zephyrians had superior numbers and heavier weapons. They eventually broke through the human defenses and captured the main colony buildings. But the victory cost them more soldiers than their previous 10 raids combined. Many of their troops were wounded. Several of their vehicles were destroyed. Admiral Veltar walked through the smoking ruins of the colony, his 4 yellow eyes studying the human prisoners. These people had fought much harder than expected. They had used tactics that showed real military training. Most disturbing of all, they seemed to have been prepared for this exact attack. "You fought with great skill," he admitted to Jun Choi, who had been captured while sending a final message to Earth. Blood trickled from a cut on the human's forehead, but his eyes remained calm and alert. "Every human life is worth defending," Jun replied simply, "and Earth needed to know exactly what your people can do in battle." Veltar's eyes narrowed with suspicion. "What do you mean by that?" Jun smiled, despite his injuries. "Check your military intelligence reports in a few days. You might find them very interesting reading." What the Zephyrian admiral did not understand was that the battle had been recorded from dozens of different angles. Every weapon they used, every tactic they employed, every weakness they revealed, had been documented and transmitted across the galaxy. The humans had not just fought to defend their colony. They had fought to gather intelligence. 3 days later, detailed technical information about Zephyrian military capabilities began appearing on public information networks throughout galactic space. Ship designs, weapons specifications, shield frequencies, tactical manuals, and complete fleet deployment patterns were suddenly available to anyone who wanted to download them. The hegemony military immediately began repositioning their forces to take advantage of newly discovered weaknesses in Zephyrian border defenses. The collective sent trade delegations to former Zephyrian client states, armed with precise knowledge of their military capabilities. High Admiral Dexmore received the intelligence reports while sitting in his command center on the Zephyrian home world. His 4 hands shook with rage as he read page after page of classified military secrets that were now public knowledge across the galaxy. How did they obtain this information? He demanded of his intelligence officers. "Sir," one of them replied nervously, "according to our analysis, all of this data was gathered during our attack on the human mining colony. They recorded everything we did. The humans had turned the Zephyrian test into a trap. Now, everyone in the galaxy knew exactly how the mighty Zephyrian Empire fought their wars." 3 days after the attack on the mining colony, Dr. Yoon Park stood in a room filled with glowing computer screens deep inside Earth's intelligence headquarters. The walls displayed star maps, alien ship designs, and military information that had never been seen by human eyes before. "The information package from our colony was better than we hoped," she announced to the officers gathered around her. "We now know everything about Zephyrian ships, weapons, and defense systems." Admiral Soo Kim, Earth's top naval commander, studied the alien technical data with professional interest. "Our people on Kepler fought brilliantly. They died gathering this intelligence. But what do we do now?" Director Hyun Park entered the briefing room, his face serious but determined. "We follow the plan we have been developing since we first met alien civilizations. Phase 1 begins now." Within 6 hours, Earth's most secret military information began appearing on public computer networks across the entire galaxy. Detailed blueprints of Zephyrian warships, tactical instruction manuals, shield frequencies, weapon specifications, and complete fleet location maps were transmitted to every major civilization in known space. Captain Ari Jung commanded Earth's stealth reconnaissance ship, Silent Observer from deep space. Her vessel was invisible to most alien sensors, allowing her to watch galactic reactions to the intelligence release without being detected. The hegemony forces are already moving their fleets. Her intelligence officer, Yen Cho, reported while studying incoming data streams. "They are using our information to find weak points in Zephyrian border defenses. What about the collective? Ari asked. They are sending trade negotiation teams to former Zephyrian client worlds. Apparently, knowing someone's exact military strength makes business discussions much easier. Back on Earth, Ambassador Jiho Kim once again stood before the Galactic Council. But this time, the atmosphere was completely different. The casual dismissal from before was gone, replaced by nervous attention from every alien representative. The Zephyrian Empire has committed an unprovoked act of war against innocent human civilians, Jiho announced in a calm, steady voice. Earth formally requests the return of all human prisoners, full payment for damages, and a public apology. High Admiral Vexmore's 4 eyes blazed with fury. You dare make demands after releasing our classified military secrets. This is an act of war. No, replied Mina Park, stepping forward with a data tablet in her hands. This is transparency. Every piece of information we released was gathered through completely legal means during your attack on our people. If you find it embarrassing that a small mining settlement could learn your military secrets, perhaps you should think about your tactics. Sumi Lee continued monitoring the alien delegates' reactions from Earth's orbital observation station. She could read fear in their body language, uncertainty, respect, and from some species, particularly those who had been bullied by Zephyrian power, something that looked very much like hope. Director Park, she transmitted privately, recommend moving to Phase 2. The galactic balance of power just changed, and everyone knows it. Dr. Kai Song, Earth's chief diplomatic strategist, smiled as intelligence reports flooded in from across the galaxy. 3 Zephyrian client species had already declared independence from the Empire. 2 major trade routes had been suspended, pending security reviews. Most importantly, every civilization now understood that humans did not just fight. When attacked, they studied their enemies with scientific precision. The Zephyrians have 48 hours to respond to our demands, Jiho announced to the assembled council. After that time period, Earth will consider alternative approaches to securing the safety of our citizens. As the council session ended, Admiral Soo Kim received an urgent transmission from Earth's outer rim monitoring stations. Sir, long-range sensors are detecting unusual activity throughout Zephyrian space. Multiple fleet movements, defensive repositioning. They appear to be mobilizing for something major. Sue nodded grimly. Then we move to Phase 3. Signal all covert operational assets. It is time to show them what real human preparation looks like. What the galactic community did not know was that Earth had been positioning assets throughout known space since their first contact with alien civilizations. Ships disguised as cargo haulers had been mapping every major star system. Trading posts had been established in strategic locations. Even diplomatic missions carried advanced sensor equipment. Captain Jin, you commanded one such trading vessel, currently hiding in an asteroid field near a major Zephyrian military base. His ship appeared on alien sensors as a simple cargo hauler, but it actually carried enough firepower to destroy a small fleet. Earth Command, this is Hidden Blade, he transmitted through encrypted channels. We are in position near target designation Alpha 7. Zephyrian fleet movements suggest they are preparing for major offensive operations. Similar reports came in from dozens of covert human assets positioned throughout Zephyrian territory. What looked like peaceful merchant activities had actually been a massive intelligence and positioning operation spanning nearly 2 years. Commander Narration, stationed near the Zephyrian homeworld aboard the disguised research vessel Deep Survey, watched enemy fleet preparations through advanced sensor arrays. Command, they are assembling the largest military force in their recorded history. Target appears to be Talos Prime, our nearest major colony world. Director Hyen Park received these reports in Earth's Strategic Command Center, where holographic displays showed the real-time positions of human assets scattered across multiple star systems. The aliens thought they were planning a surprise attack. They had no idea that Earth had been watching and preparing for exactly this scenario. All units, he announced through the secure communication network, prepare for Operation Checkmate. The Zephyrians want to test our resolve. Let us show them what happens when you threaten Earth's children. The galaxy was about to learn that humans did not just react to threats. They anticipated them, prepared for them, and responded with overwhelming precision. High Admiral Vexmore stood on the bridge of his flagship Dominion's Edge, looking out at 300 Zephyrian warships floating in perfect formation. This was the largest military force his empire had assembled in over 50 years. The humans have embarrassed us, he declared to his commanders, through the ship's communication system. Their intelligence release has made us look weak in front of the entire galaxy. We will respond by completely destroying their colony world. No survivors, no witnesses, no doubt about Zephyrian strength. General Kexfer, who would lead the ground invasion, raised his hand with concern. Admiral, our reports suggest these humans are better prepared than we first thought. The mining colony's resistance was much stronger than expected. One small outpost with improvised defenses. Vexmore dismissed the concern with a wave of his armored hand. Talos Prime is a full colony world with millions of people. Once we demonstrate our power there, the humans will surrender, and the galaxy will remember why they should fear us. 12 hours later, the massive Zephyrian fleet dropped out of hyperspace around Talos Prime. The Admiral expected to find a lightly defended farming world with simple orbital stations. Instead, he found Colonel Narration waiting for him with a fully militarized defense network that had been hidden until this moment. All defense stations. This is Colonial Command. Nari's voice echoed across military frequencies throughout the system. Execute Protocol Omega. Show these invaders what Earth's children can do when properly prepared. The first surprise came when Talos Prime's agricultural processing stations revealed themselves as disguised weapons platforms. Panels slid away to expose heavy plasma cannons and missile launchers. The second surprise came when the planet's orbital infrastructure began launching squadrons of attack fighters that used Zephyrian technology specifications. Captain Jin Yu, commanding the Defense Squadron Retribution, smiled as his reverse engine Zephyrian plasma weapons tore through the enemy flagship's protective shields. Thank you for the technical manuals, gentlemen. Earth's engineers send their appreciation, but the real shock came 30 minutes into the battle, when human ships began appearing throughout Zephyrian space, not just around Talos Prime, but simultaneously at every major military installation across the entire empire. Commander Haywan, aboard the stealth vessel Shadow Strike, emerged from hiding directly above the Zephyrian Military Academy on their home world. This is Shadow Strike to Earth Command. We are in attack position, over target designation, Zulu 7, awaiting confirmation for synchronized strike. Similar reports flooded Earth's Strategic Command Center from dozens of vessels that had been positioned throughout Zephyrian territory for many months. Ships had been hiding in asteroid fields, gas giant atmospheres, and the dark spaces between stars. Director Heian Park stood in the underground command center, watching real-time video feeds from across an entire section of the galaxy. Holographic displays showed human forces striking simultaneously at 47 different star systems. All vessels, this is Strategic Command, he announced through the secure network. You are authorized to begin Operation Checkmate. Show them that attacking one human means facing all of Earth. The coordinated attack began at exactly the same moment across the Zephyrian Empire. Human ships that had been waiting in hidden positions 4 months revealed themselves and struck at carefully selected targets. Communication hubs, supply depots, fleet bases, and command centers all came under precise attack. Captain Unilim, commanding the strike on Zephyrian Central Fleet Command, watched as her squadron's plasma bombardment disabled the Empire's primary military coordination facility. This is Sword of Earth. Primary target neutralized. Their fleet commanders just lost contact with half their military forces. Back at Talos Prime, Admiral Vexmore watched his mighty invasion fleet being systematically destroyed by human forces. That seemed to understand his ship's weaknesses better than his own engineers did. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his tactical officer. "How did they position military forces throughout our entire empire without our sensors detecting them?" Colonel Narration answered him directly over the open communication channel, her voice remaining calm and professional despite the chaos of battle. "The same way we knew exactly when and where you would attack, Admiral. Earth does not just react to threats, we prepare for them. Every human colony, every ship, every citizen is protected by defense plans developed long before we ever encountered your species." Commander Dupark, monitoring the battle from Earth's Strategic Command, pulled up a holographic display showing the full scope of the military operation. "Sir, we are receiving surrender requests from 17 different Safarian installations. Their command structure is collapsing faster than our computer models predicted." Admiral Su Kim nodded with grim satisfaction. "Maintain pressure, but avoid unnecessary casualties. Our goal is to demonstrate capability, not commit mass destruction. We want them to understand the cost of threatening humans, not create martyrs for future revenge." As reports continued arriving from across Zephyrian space, one fact became clear to every observer throughout the galaxy. Earth had not just been preparing for this specific conflict. They had been preparing for every possible conflict, with every known species. Since the moment they joined galactic civilization, the Zephyrian Empire, which had dominated this region of space for centuries, was being dismantled in a single day by a species most aliens had considered weak and primitive just weeks before. Every alien government watching these events understood the same terrifying truth. The humans had been planning for war from the very beginning. Even while speaking of peace and friendship, the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. 6 weeks after the Zephyrian Empire's military forces were destroyed, Ambassador Jiho Kim stood once again before the Galactic Council. This time, however, the massive chamber was packed with representatives from dozens of species. Everyone wanted to understand exactly what had happened. "The Zephyrian Empire has agreed to pay full compensation for their unprovoked attack on human civilians," Jiho announced calmly. "All human prisoners have been returned safely, and both sides have signed a comprehensive peace agreement." What Jiho did not mention was that the peace agreement included detailed provisions for Earth to establish permanent monitoring stations throughout former Zephyrian space. These facilities were officially described as humanitarian aid centers. Captain Ari Jung now commanded one such monitoring station, a sophisticated facility disguised as a medical research center on the former Zephyrian world of Kethmer. Her real job was maintaining the 47 hidden sensor networks that had been installed during Operation Checkmate. Status report, she requested from her intelligence officer, Lieutenant Yan Cho. "All surveillance networks operating normally," Yan replied while checking her computer displays. "We are tracking fleet movements, communication traffic, and technology development across the entire former empire. If anyone tries to rebuild Zephyrian military capabilities, we will know about it before they finish planning." The effects of Earth's demonstration spread throughout galactic civilization like ripples in a pond. Species that had been fighting territorial wars for centuries suddenly discovered diplomatic solutions. Trade agreements became more fair and balanced. Several smaller civilizations formally requested Earth's protection against potential aggressors. Dr. Yoon Park, now serving as Director of Galactic Intelligence Coordination, briefed Earth's leadership on the changing political situation. 17 different species have applied for formal defense agreements with Earth. The hegemony has proposed a mutual information sharing treaty. Even the collective is interested in joint military training exercises. Director Han Park studied the reports with quiet satisfaction. "What is our current strategic positioning status?" "Complete coverage," Yoon replied with a slight smile. "We now have monitoring assets in every major star system, defense agreements that provide forward operating bases throughout 3 galactic sectors, and detailed intelligence on every significant military force in known space. If anyone threatens humanity anywhere, we will have the capability to respond before they finish planning their attack. Admiral Su Kim reviewed the latest fleet deployment reports from his office, overlooking Earth's primary spaceport. What is our current military readiness level? Fully prepared for simultaneous conflicts with up to 12 major civilizations, reported Captain Yuna Lim, now serving as Strategic Operations Coordinator. Every human colony has sufficient defensive capabilities to resist attack until Earth response forces arrive. Every trade route is monitored continuously. Every potential threat has been analyzed and appropriate countermeasures developed. The transformation of Earth's relationship with galactic civilization became clear during a routine council session when the Mordock representative made a casual comment about disciplining a human trade convoy that had allegedly violated their territorial boundaries. The chamber fell completely silent. Every delegate turned to look at Ambassador Jiho Kim, who smiled politely and activated his personal communication device. Earth Strategic Command, this is Ambassador Kim. Please provide current tactical assessment for Mordock space. Within 3 seconds, his device projected a holographic display showing every Mordock military installation, fleet position, communication hub, and industrial facility. Red targeting indicators appeared over critical infrastructure, while green indicators showed the positions of nearby human assets. Thank you, Command, Jiho said calmly, then addressed the Mordock representative directly. I believe there has been a misunderstanding about our convoy's navigation route. Perhaps we could discuss this matter privately after the session. The Mordock delegates' skin color shifted to what observers had learned indicated extreme nervousness in their species. That will not be necessary. I am certain our traffic controllers made a simple error. Mina Park, observing from her position as Earth's permanent military representative to the Council, allowed herself a small smile. The message was crystal clear to everyone present. Earth knew exactly where you were, what you were capable of, and how to neutralize any threat if necessary. Sumi Lee, now directing Earth's Galactic Threat Assessment Division from a hidden facility in the asteroid belt, monitored diplomatic exchanges throughout known space with professional satisfaction. All defensive systems are operating within normal parameters, she reported to Earth's command. Galactic civilization appears to have achieved stable balance. What she really meant was simpler. Everyone now understood that threatening humans anywhere in the galaxy meant facing Earth's complete response, and Earth had spent the past 3 years ensuring that response would be overwhelming, precise, and devastating. As Director Han Park reviewed the monthly strategic assessment in his underground command center, he reflected on how much had changed since humanity's first contact with alien civilizations. Earth's warning had been simple and direct. Touch them, face Earth. The galaxy had tested that warning once. Now everyone understood it completely. Throughout known space, automated monitoring stations continued their silent watch. Human crews maintained defensive positions in dozens of star systems. Earth's strategic planners continued developing contingency plans for threats that did not yet exist. The warning remained exactly the same, but now, every alien civilization knew precisely what those words meant. Touch any human, anywhere in the galaxy, and face the full military might of Earth's carefully planned response. Peace through superior preparation had become humanity's gift to galactic civilization. The warning was clear, and everyone had learned to respect it.